Leadership itself is like war. You are going into a war. Welcome to Take the Mic with Felix. This is another episode where we're discussing emotional intelligence. In one of the episodes, we talked about self-awareness. In this episode, we'll be discussing self-regulation. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of this, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. You know what? We'll also be expecting those questions, those comments. Keep them coming. Self-regulation in emotional intelligence. We can break it up into two parts. There's the entrepreneurship side as well as the goals or achievement side. The entrepreneurship side looks at your ability as a leader to have the courage to be a leader. I know somebody will say, why do I need courage to be a leader? Am I going into a fight? You want me to warn you? Leadership itself is like war. You are going into a war because now you are going to lead people. Their lives is dependent on you. And so you are going to have to be fighting battles on their behalf. You are going to have to do things on their behalf. And then you are going to also need courage to make decisions. For instance, you are going to have to deal with the good, the bad, and the ugly. But you have to have the courage to make those decisions. Now, talking about courage reminds me of something that happened once. We had this staff that was very troublesome. Today he's fighting this person, the next day he's fighting the next one, the next day he's fighting this other person. And each time I will call him and I will say, listen, this thing you're doing is not right. And people go, why is the director always advising this person? Can't he see that this person is not a team player? Matters got to a head. One day I said, you know what, thus far and no further. And I fired the staff. The same people that are saying, why have you not done this? Why have you not? The same people are coming. In fact, one particular person came to me and said, wow, Oga, we didn't know you had that kind of courage to fire this person. I said, it was not courage that was lacking in the first place. It was because for me as a leader, and that's how leaders should work, their first course of action is not get rid of the person that is following you. If the person makes mistakes, correct them. And you know what? Do it in love. Correct them. Don't make them lose self-esteem while you are correcting them. Make them see that you are correcting them because you want them to be a better person. You are correcting them not because they are bad, but because you want them to be better people. Now, if people know that you are correcting them out of love to make them better, they will take your corrections. They will take it on board and they will move on. And I kept saying to them, people make mistakes. People sometimes do not understand how to work in a team. You have to help them. And that's why I kept advising, sometimes training, and saying, look, in such circumstance, you need to do this, you need to do this. So courage is important. The other thing is energy. See, if you do not have the energy as a leader, your people can read it. They can read it in you and they'll say, look, our Oga doesn't believe in where he's leading us to because you are not showing energy. And you'll be shocked. You turn around, you will suddenly see people dropping off one after the other because there's no energy, there's no enthusiasm in what you're doing. Then as a leader, you must be willing to drive change and innovation. Do not manage change. Leaders are not supposed to manage change. Leaders are supposed to lead change, which means you are always future focused. Think of what will happen tomorrow. What can we do tomorrow to make what we are doing today better? If the followers see you as a leader driving change and leading change and creating innovative programs and ideas, you don't need much to motivate them to follow you. Then you must also be ready to break with orthodox methods of doing things. Because you've been doing something a certain way does not mean that there are no other ways or there are no better ways of doing it. So you must be willing to break with tradition. Now, this deals with the entrepreneurship side of self-regulation. The other side is the goals and achievements. As a leader, you must take ownership. You must take ownership and you must be decisive. Once you say to the people, we're going this direction, don't come tomorrow, say, oh no, it's this other direction. Say, oh no, I made a mistake, this other direction. After a while, if they know that you are not decisive, by the time you say, come, we're going to the stadium, they'll say, no, chances are that this leader wants us to go to the market. And you will lose them. You must be achievement-oriented. People want to look back and say, as an organization, as a group, what have we achieved? They look back and they say, oh, we achieved 1, 2, 3, 4. Guess what? They will follow you because they know that you are achievement-oriented. You have to be persistent also. Now, being persistent is different from being pedantic. Persistence means that you do not give up in the face of discouragement or in the face of lack. Being pedantic is insisting, look, the rule says it has to be done like this and therefore it's like this or no other way. No. A leader is expected to be persistent. If you're persistent with what you do, you don't give up easily, your people will see, they will join hands with you, and you will run a team that is very, very healthy. As a person, you must also be willing to cope with uncertainty. Whatever you are doing, this life itself is riddled with uncertainty. How do you cope when things you didn't plan for show up? Do you get easily flustered? Do you get easily discouraged? Do you get easily put off? No. As a self-leader, when those unexpected things come, what the people expect you to do as those who follow you is they expect to see a leader that remains calm and finds creative ways to deal with those things that come up that were not planned. And that's why as a leader, planning must be critical in everything you do. Like they say, if you fail to plan, you have planned to fail. Now, because you plan does not mean that things are not going to go wrong. But if you plan and things go wrong, it is easy to handle those uncertainties that come because there has been a plan on the ground. Now, finally, there has to be specific, concrete self-development plans. For you to be able to lead yourself effectively, you must be able to develop yourself as a leader. And there are many things you can do. We have talked about reading in one of the episodes, and you can go and look at it. Reading is one of the things you can do. Get yourself a mentor. Take short courses. Take short courses on leadership, or if there are, you can even go and do a degree course in leadership if you are very, very intent on developing yourself. So these are things you can do to improve your emotional leadership, to ensure that you are there. Your emotional intelligence is high, and your people can look at you and trust you because they know that this leader is one who is emotionally balanced and they have nothing to fear. We'll end here, and I want to thank you for your time, for spending time with us again today on Take the Mic with Felix. But before you go, don't forget, subscribe, share, like, and we'll be waiting for your comments and your questions. See you in another episode of Take the Mic with Felix.